If you notice these 7 signs, do not ignore them. They are the preface to the cut that comes with the eclipse of September 7th. The universe does not wait for the exact date to begin its work. It sends signs, prepares the ground, and gives us the opportunity to consciously participate in the process, instead of just being caught up in its force. What you are about to hear is not a mystical prediction, but a practical, almost clinical checklist of the symptoms that the energy of this eclipse is already manifesting in our daily lives. Think of this event as a software that has already begun to be installed in our system, and, like any installation, it generates perceptible alterations. The eclipse is already active. It sends its warnings before executing its final function, which is to bring conclusions and clarity. And it speaks through the language of dreams, of small glitches in our routine, of synchronicities, and of the sensations in our own bodies. The objective here is clear: to arm you with the knowledge so that you can observe these signs, not with fear, but with the attention of a strategist. By recognizing these patterns, you cease to be a victim of circumstances and become an informed observer, capable of understanding the current before being carried away by it. Today, you will learn the 7 main signs that the eclipse energy is already at work in your life. Mark the ones that resonate with you. The first sign: dreams that repeat the same scene. The first place where the energy of an eclipse in Pisces manifests is not in the physical world, but in the laboratory of our soul, the world of dreams. Before our conscious mind can even register that something is changing, our subconscious is already working hard behind the scenes. In the days leading up to such a potent event of finality, the veil between the conscious and the subconscious becomes thinner, and our dreams become the main channel of communication for what is being processed in the deepest layers of our being. Therefore, the first sign to which you should pay full attention is repetition. This is not about having strange dreams that can happen at any time. This is about noticing an insistent pattern. Notice if the same image, the same person, the same scenario, or the same feeling reappears night after night. It may not be the entire dream that repeats, but a central element that acts as an anchor. It could be the image of an old house, of a bridge you cannot cross, or the feeling of searching for something you cannot find. This repetition is not a mistake or a flaw in your imagination. It is a clear sign that your psyche is focused on resolving a specific issue. It's as if your subconscious is playing the same movie every night, forcing you to pay attention to a scene you have been ignoring in your waking life. But why does this happen now? Because the eclipse is, in its essence, about a cut, a conclusion. And before a cut can be made, in reality, our mind needs to process its emotional implications. The repeated dream is exactly that. It is your mind processing the cut. It is simulating the scenario, rehearsing the goodbye, familiarizing itself with the feeling of that conclusion so that when it happens in the real world, the shock is lesser. It is an incredibly intelligent preparation mechanism. If the dream is about a person from the past, perhaps your mind is processing the final cut of an energetic tie. If it is about an old job, perhaps it is rehearsing the release of an old identity. Your task here is not to become a professional dream interpreter, but rather an attentive observer. Keep a notebook by your bed. Upon waking, write down the central image or feeling that was repeated. The question to ask is not, what does this dream mean? But rather, what feeling or situation is this dream preparing me to face? If this sign is happening to you, have no doubt, the eclipse energy is already active and working on your behalf, starting from the inside out. The second sign, messages that settle old accounts. After working on your subconscious during sleep, the eclipse energy begins to manifest in the physical world, in your day-to-day life. It does this in a very practical, almost bureaucratic way. The universe understands that for a cycle to truly end, we often need tangible proof, a receipt, a formal confirmation that the account has been paid and the book has been closed. Therefore, the second sign you should be alert to are the unexpected messages that serve precisely this purpose, to settle old accounts. Pay attention in the coming days, as they may arrive in the most mundane ways. It could be an email from that old client with whom there was a pending issue now resolved, a message from that ex-partner about a practical matter that was still open, now finalized, a notification from a social network about a memory or an old connection that, upon being seen, brings you an immediate sense of clarity and distance, proof that the emotional charge it once carried simply no longer exists. The key here is the feeling of closure. The message does not come to reopen a wound, but to stitch it up once and for all. Another very common way this sign manifests is through documents or finances. It could be the arrival of the last bill for a long-term loan, the settlement of a debt, the resolution of an inheritance issue, an unexpected refund that zeroes out an old loss. The universe, in its precision, uses these material symbols to communicate to us that a karmic cycle or a long-standing obligation has come to an end. Seeing that paid or resolved on paper has an immense psychological power. It is the external confirmation that an energy that once tied you to the past has been officially released. Your task upon receiving these signs is simple. Recognize them as the messengers they are. When one of these emails, bills, or messages arrives, do not treat it as just another event of the day. Stop for a moment, breathe, and say to yourself, I received this confirmation. This cycle is officially closed. It is an act of recognition that seals the process. If this sign is appearing in your life, it is proof that the eclipse is not just preparing a cut, but is already actively clearing your path, removing pending issues so that you can move forward with more lightness. The third sign, small glitches in routines. The energy of an eclipse works to break stagnant patterns and realign us with a more authentic path. And sometimes, the most direct way to break a pattern is by interrupting our automatic routines, those actions we do every day on autopilot. Therefore, the third sign is one of the most curious and often most annoying. The small and inexplicable glitches that begin to appear in your systems and your environment. Pay attention, because what seems like a simple coincidence or a day of bad luck actually carries a much deeper message. This sign often manifests through technology, your computer crashing just as you are about to finish an important task, the internet connection dropping in the middle of a crucial conversation, the app you use every day that suddenly refuses to work. Or it could be something physical, the coffee maker that decides to stop working on the morning you need it most, the key that gets stuck in the lock, the object that slips from your hand and breaks for no apparent reason. What differentiates these events from simple everyday accidents is their timing and their synchronicity. They seem to happen at the exact moment to force you to stop, to divert you from a course of action, or to draw your attention to something you are ignoring. The interpretation here is fundamental. Our first reaction is frustration, but the perspective of the eclipse invites us to look beyond. It is not chance, it is synchronization. These small glitches are not the universe conspiring against you. They are the universe forcing you to take a pause. They are deliberate interruptions to your autopilot. The technology that crashes may be a sign for you to reread what you were writing with more attention. The object that breaks may be a reminder to slow down and be more present in your body. Each of these glitches is a forced reset, an invitation to get out of your mind and observe what is really happening in the present moment. Your task when encountering this sign is not to fight against it or curse the technology. It is to take a deep breath and ask a simple and powerful question. What is this interruption forcing me to see right now? Perhaps it is forcing you to see that you are exhausted and need a break. Perhaps it is preventing you from sending an impulsive message. Or perhaps it is simply breaking your rigidity, reminding you that not everything is under your control. If this sign is appearing, it is a clear indication that the universe is actively intervening in your routines to ensure that you do not continue to walk in a direction that needs to be reevaluated before the Great Cut on the 7th. The 4th sign, vanishing concentration and the flash of clarity. The 4th sign is one of the most disconcerting because it happens entirely inside your head. It is a paradoxical mental pattern that can make you feel like you are losing control, but which in fact is a strong indication that a deep realignment is underway. The sign manifests in two opposite extremes. On one hand, moments when your concentration simply disappears. On the other, sudden flashes of an almost brutal clarity. It is the mind glitching and rebooting, a symptom that your internal processor is being recalibrated by the eclipse energy. The first part of this sign is the mental fog. You may find yourself staring at the computer screen, reading the same sentence several times, without being able to absorb its meaning. You might forget what you were going to say in the middle of a sentence, or feel an unusual difficulty in focusing on tasks that would normally be simple. Do not be alarmed. You are not losing your cognitive ability. Think of your brain as a computer that is undergoing a very heavy system update in the background. The Eclipse program is using most of your processing power to analyze and prepare the release of deep emotional patterns. As a result, your RAM for day-to-day tasks is temporarily reduced. This fog is a sign not to force productivity. It is an invitation to slow down and allow the internal work to happen. The second part of the sign is the magical counterpoint to this fog, the flash of clarity. In the midst of a moment of distraction, or when your mind is completely empty, a truth, a solution, or a profound insight can emerge with impressive force and sharpness. It is not a thought that you have constructed logically. It is a download. It is the answer to a problem that has been tormenting you for months, which suddenly appears whole and perfect. It is a sudden and unshakable understanding about a relationship or a situation in your life. This is your intuition managing to break through the blockage of the rational mind. The mental fog lowers the volume of your logical and anxious thinking, creating the necessary silence for the voice of your inner wisdom to be heard. Your task here is twofold. When the fog comes, do not fight against it, surrender. Take a break, drink a glass of water, look out the window, allow the update to happen. And when the flash of clarity comes, honor it immediately. Write it down. Record an audio note for yourself. Do not question it. This information is pure gold. It is a direct message from your deepest self, a precise guide for the cut and the clarity that the eclipse will bring. The fifth sign, relationships that demand truth now. The energy of an eclipse is, above all, an energy of truth. And sometimes the truth we most need is mirrored to us through our interactions with others. The fifth sign moves our attention to the field of relationships where the pre-eclipse energy acts as a catalyst, forcing conversations and situations that bring clarity, even if uncomfortably. If the universe perceives that we are postponing a necessary conclusion, it may use another person as a messenger to deliver the message. This sign can manifest in three main ways in the coming days. The first is direct confrontation. Someone confronts you, bringing up a problem that was being ignored, or asking for a level of honesty that takes you out of your comfort zone. The second is more formal. Someone asks for a serious conversation. It is the call to put the cards on the table, to define the future of a relationship, whether it be personal or professional. The third form is the most passive, but equally powerful. Someone simply disappears. A sudden silence, an inexplicable distance. In this case, the absence is the message, a clear sign that the energy that sustained that connection has dissolved. Your task when encountering one of these scenarios is to take a deep breath and remove your ego from the equation. Do not take it personally. Understand that these people are functioning as unconscious agents of the eclipse energy. They are giving voice to a truth that already existed in the energetic field between you and that now demands to be recognized so that the cycle can close. Instead of reacting defensively, try to listen. Ask yourself, what is the truth that this situation is forcing me to face? If this sign appears, know that it is the universe accelerating a necessary resolution, clearing the path in your relationships before the great closing. On the 7th, the 6th sign, pain or pressure in the chest or throat. The 6th sign is one of the most intimate, as it manifests directly in your body. The energy of an eclipse, especially one that deals with the deep emotional release of Pisces, is not just an abstract concept. It is a real force that moves through us. When this energy encounters internal blockages, emotions that have not been processed, words that have not been spoken, decisions that have not been made, it creates a perceptible physical pressure. Obviously, any persistent physical symptom should be checked by a healthcare professional, but in the energetic context of the pre-eclipse, pay special attention to two areas of your body. The first is a feeling of weight or pressure in the chest. It is not a sharp pain, but a density, as if something was sitting on your heart. Energetically, this area governs our connections, our feelings, and our grief. This weight is often the physical manifestation of a sadness that needs to be released, or of a pending decision from the heart. It is the weight of a goodbye that has not yet been fully processed. The second manifestation is a lump or pressure in the throat. This is the area that governs our communication and our truth. The feeling of tightness here is a classic sign of unspoken words. It is the energy of a crucial conversation you have been avoiding, of a truth you have been swallowing to keep the peace. The eclipse is forcing this energy to rise, demanding that your truth finally be expressed. The body reacts. It is the accumulated energy of speech and decision. If you feel one of these pressures, do not be alarmed. Your body is simply giving you clear and direct feedback on where the eclipse energy needs a release valve. Your task is to welcome the message. Ask yourself, what feeling in my heart have I been avoiding? Or what word in my throat needs to be said? The simple act of acknowledging the cause of this accumulation can already begin to relieve the pressure, preparing you for the great release that is to come. The 7th sign, repeated synchronicities. Finally, the 7th sign is the universe's way of ensuring that its message has been received. When the energy of an eclipse is intensifying, the border between our world and the symbolic field becomes thinner, and communication happens through patterns. An isolated event can be a coincidence. A pattern that repeats insistently is an unequivocal sign. The 7th sign is, therefore, the repetition of synchronicities. It is the universe underlining, putting in bold a theme that is crucial for your attention at this moment. This sign is highly personal and manifests in your environment in ways that only you can recognize. Pay attention if, throughout the same day, you come across the same number repeatedly, on the clock, on a license plate, on a receipt. Observe if the same specific word or phrase appears in completely different contexts. In a song playing on the radio, in a book you open, in a conversation you overhear by chance. Notice if the same face or a person's name crosses your path several times, either physically or through unexpected mentions. This repetition is not a glitch in the matrix. It is a focusing mechanism. With so much happening in our internal and external worlds, the universe uses repetition to tell us of everything that is happening. Pay attention to this. The central theme is here. The repeated synchronicity points to the area of your life, to the emotion, or to the relationship where the eclipse's truth is about to manifest most potently. It is a clue, a spotlight illuminating a specific part of the stage before the final act begins. Your task upon noticing this sign is simple. You do not need to look for complex meanings in a dictionary of symbols. Just write down the pattern and ask yourself the question, what is the theme or emotion that this brings up for me? The pattern is not the message itself. It is the envelope. It is drawing your attention to the content you already carry within you. If this sign is happening, it is the final confirmation that you're in tune and being guided, point by point, to the center of the clarity that the eclipse will offer. The checklist is complete. The 7 main signs that the eclipse energy is already active have been revealed. If you identified with one or more of them, understand that there is no reason for alarm. On the contrary, there is reason for awareness. These signs are proof that your intuition is working perfectly, capturing the subtle language of the universe. They are a map, a guide, that was delivered to you in advance so that you can navigate the powerful conclusion on the 7th, not with fear, but with the calm of one who has been prepared. Your task now is simple. Pay attention. If this guide has illuminated what you were already feeling, anchor that perception. Like this video, share it with someone who might also be feeling these signs, and write the word that confirms your attention in the comments. Signs. Remember the golden rule for the next few days. Observe. Do not react. The final clarity is coming. And don't forget to subscribe so we can continue to decipher these messages together.